Alrighty. So let's get this in order. Whoa, showing Xbox. Kidoki. Take two. We're trying to do this live. Like I want to give you guys like a no bullshit. Why does it say no no fucking shit, no ranked? In no way did I say this is UFC 4 ranked or sub fights. That's the wrong title. We back. Is it good? Is everything good audio wise? Everything's good. I think it's cause I haven't been home in a while. Like all my settings were all out of whack. So everything's good. Everything is good. Right? I just want to make sure with y'all before we get this going, right? Yeah, we're back. We're back. Audio good. Everything fine. Is everything all good? Everybody can hear me? Because, like, this was not like a video that was just playing and rolling. It was actually me. I was like, what the fuck? And my mic is good. All right, my mic is good. I have my PlayStation on. So I have my PlayStation on. All right, so let's reset everything here from off rip. I'm good. Relly Well says we good. Yadong says we good. Samurai Rowan said we good. All right, perfect. So let's actually, all right, I'll turn this up all the way.
The presentation in EA Sports UFC 5 elevates the series to a more authentic experience. Powered by the Frostbite engine, players will see, hear, and feel why UFC 5 is as real as it gets.
Okay.
To the deep dive into the presentation of EA Sports UFC 5. Let's take a look at the features that creates UFC 5's new presentation, including the Frostbite engine.
So that's one thing we got to look at, the Frostbite engine, right?
Visual effects.
Visual effects is going to be talking about the cuts, icons, everything along that nature when shots are landing with regards to impact.
New in-game cinematics.
Cinematics would mean like the stuff in between rounds, which I wouldn't even say in between rounds. I'd say it also in between rounds. I'd also say, you know, just like offline play in general, right? For guys who play offline.
Advanced fighter likeness.
I was saying this before the previous stream. We had to take that one down, but it kind of surprises me that the UFC itself hasn't had its fighters go and do mocap for their game, because when it comes to, all right, you have a game that's supposed to be authentically replicating your fighters, right? Obviously, they have captured animations, they have certain things, they have new striking animations and everything of that nature. Because, you know, there's only so many ways you can throw a fucking punch. There's only so many ways you can do certain things. But if you wanted, like, a fighter to have their way of doing something, the best option is the mocap, right? Get them to do the motion capture and let them do that. So it's something that's always been on my mind with regard to EA Sports. And I would like to see more fighters go out to Vancouver and try to get more mocap done. How it can be done, hey, I ain't got the money for that. But I'm saying for EA Sports and UFC, y'all already working together to make a game title. Let's do some work there, right?
Cinematic KO replays and authentic finishes. My name is I'm a Boxer, a part of the...
And Frostbite engine gonna be good? Okay, so y'all can hear this video oh my god, Boxer, I ain't mean to do you like that. Y'all can hear this video perfectly fine? Alright.
And an EA Sports UFC content creator. I was able to interview EA's art director of UFC 5, Kurt Gibbons, to explain the new presentation and how it will impact the user experience.
I like how if you got a skateboard, I like how he has the Volcom, the Volcom, I think it's Volcom, something like Vol or some shit like that for skateboarding. So it's actually it's a little caveat there. Let me delete this. UFC 5 deep dive live reaction. And while he's talking, I'll be sharing this around. So then when we drop the actual video that we'll do, it'll be much easier to do, right?
I would say the first thing you're going to see that's going to be impactful and the players are going to feel is our walkout. We have new dynamic lighting with Frostbite engine. Just the whole presentation.
That looks way better. That looks good. Oh.
And new player in our
they got Marshall Mind walking out with Kamaru Usman.
Native players is just amazing. We were during production, we were comparing real life UFC presentation with our game, and it was hard to tell the difference. So I think that's something that fans are gonna love.
We'll talk about the Usman, Usman, because I'm looking at Islam, the Usman model in a bit, but.
Game. Once you get in, I think again you're gonna see the players, the fighters looking amazing with all of our new lighting and rendering technology and our strand-based hair. And then once you get into the fight and see all the impact with damage, I just think it's going to be incredible. And all that stuff we couldn't have done before.
You said you slow that down real quick.
Hair. And then once you get into the fight and see all the impact.
That's the new uppercut animation. That's a new lead hook animation right there off rip. And so he landed. So look, hey, even though we're watching like a trailer, I still want to see like the gameplay and everything else of that nature, because I like to see things with winning trades and everything of that nature. So uppercut. So the Guida landed the uppercut first, and then Patty Pimblett there, and now he's trying to throw. Okay, try to throw the hook, and he tried to go forward. He tries to throw forward on the cross, and a lead hook comes over the top and nails Pimblett for the rock. Okay. So that's something interesting to note. So I'm actually pretty happy with, okay, good that we see some newer animations there at least.
I just think it's going to be incredible, and all that stuff we couldn't have done before.
With hands-on experience with the game, once you get deep into the fight, and both fighters are damaged, you feel that real impact.
Oh, goddamn!
As a whole, that's when you experience the next level of immersion.
Yeah, I mean, I love how you said as a whole, because again, all the team work together from audio team, lighting and rendering, art team, presentation and camera team.
That looks nice.
All work together to try to create really powerful videos.
Okay. I got a picture of Usman right over there on my, I got a poster of like Usman versus Kobe, and like, you know, it's Usman. They gave him the jack body type. I get it. You a bit too late. I hold you. You a bit too late. They need to. I don't know if that's just because of the lighting of the arena on him, but the Usman model, like, you know, it's Usman. Obviously, like, you can tell it's Usman, but like, yeah, you can tell it's Usman, but you gotta. They gotta change the tone up a little bit. They gotta change it up. That's my. I gotta say that. Call it like it is.
This is a new fluid physics and particle system. How will this enhance the user's gameplay experience?
With Frostbite, we get our new particle system. It's called the Metagraph, and that's a
Okay, so this is like stuff like that. I have no clue how that stuff works, right? This is where with regards to the community, like, this is like the actual little details that like brings the game together. So I probably won't have much to say about this unless they like kind of specify a little bit more.
GPU VFX system, allowing us to render individual particles of blood and sweat. What's really neat too is the blood will land
Signature
on
Carlos
that,
Esparza.
and you're actually going to see the blood build up over time. So we couldn't have.
So it's not even the blood too. They're keying in on like the motion, right? Because like if somebody's throwing a punch and they whiff, right, all their body weight has to go one direction. If they land on something, then the motion's not going to follow through all the way through. So they kind of they also showed Carla Esparza's signature movement there prior to her throwing those punches, which is another cool thing that EA should really give to more fighters instead of just Carla Esparza. I'm just saying. Right? Walkouts back in online fights. Full slow-mo in the setting. Usman training in Antarctica, facts. But okay, so like they're highlighting that stuff because when things look robotic is when like somebody's like throwing and it looks like they're shadow boxing, even when they're landing punches. But if they're having like, you know, they're showing, this is a presentation thing, so they're showing like, hey, this is how authentically it's supposed to look. Obviously, I've said what I said in my previous reaction video with regards to certain things with sliding and everything of that nature, and that has to get adjusted for sure. But this is a good start.
Done that previously, and you're gonna see just beautiful particles with blood and sweat across the game, and it's all dynamic and built
Check
up
hook
during the game based on your damage or how much you've been sweating, how long the fight goes.
I found it impressive that the mat captured the blood and the sweat from the fighters at the location where the damage actually occurred. So by the end of the fight, you can have a completely different mat from when you started.
Okay.
Telling a story about what happened during that fight and it adds to that gameplay experience.
Yeah, that Boxer, that's so awesome to hear that you felt that way, because that was actually our intent. We actually talked about the story of.
That's actually cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually cool because I haven't been to I think they do in Bellator because I've been to a Bellator live event, but like they don't like they clean the mats in between matches. I'm pretty sure they do that. Otherwise, it'd be a whole health violation. I'm pretty sure, but that is cool that like during like the duration of the fight that it stays there. It's not a brand new mat. So okay, that's good. That's good.
The mat, like based on actually making you feel like there was fights previous to the fight that you're in, and then again, the damage that occurs during the fight, it builds up both on the player, but also on the mat, and there is a story there, and that also gets backed up by our commentary and audio as well. So it's really a holistic experience that is very powerful, and it's I think it's going to make us as developers feel really good that you felt that when you played.
Okay, players always talk about the importance of making strikes feel more realistic and impactful when they land. How does the Frostbite engine in UFC 5 help address this concern?
So again, this is
so like if you guys haven't already gotten the gist of it, like the main point of this presentation trailer is talking about how, with the use of the newer engine, have they been able to make better changes. If Ignite was actually preventing them from doing this off rip, then I don't know why they didn't switch to Frostbite earlier. Maybe a money thing, or maybe it could have been a resources thing. But I'm surprised that they didn't use the Frostbite, not even just for UFC 4, but for UFC 3. Because I would feel that if they used Frostbite for UFC 4, then we could have got a lot more done for UFC 5. Because now this is like the first product to have the Frostbite engine in terms of a fighting game, right? Like this is a fighting game. So let's
holistic approach from the team. We all work together to try to make impact as powerful as possible for our players. So the first thing is animation. With animation, we worked all of our striking animations, as well as within Frostbite, we have our
that's a new flying knee
animation, which just the animation itself makes it feel more powerful. But then we also reworked our facial deformation system, which again makes it feel better when you impact another player, another fighter. Also, again, we talked about our visual effects, so you get that upon impact. And then our audio.
Damn, why you gotta sleep my boy like that?
We added new audio with more quenching effects and that sort of thing to really make the whole system.
Yo, that dude that got getting dropped there, look. Duplessis. Oh, they got this shit being it's supposed to be like a bloodbath or something off rip between these two. That's what EA predicting. Y'all heard it here first. They got Adesanya probably getting stunned first by Duplessis, and then Adesanya coming back and knocking him down. God damn.
The whole system more powerful and impactful. And I think when you play, you really.
In my honest opinion, though, like that knockdown right there, you saw how like he kind of slumped, and he was like off to the side, and he just quickly recovered guard. I've never been a fan of that too much because that's where I know like the Adesanya obviously backed up as a presentation thing, but I really hope that like when that animation happens, I should be able to, pounce.
Really feel it again with all of our blood and particles, all summing up into just a great, powerful experience for impact.
In UFC 4, we had some great character models, but in UFC 5, it takes it to a completely new level.
Yeah, that's
How has
the Leon Edwards one is definitely improved. That's a good one to show.
Engine improved fighter likeness in UFC 5.
Yeah, so that is something we put a huge amount of effort into. Again, obviously the fighters of UFC.
Yeah, that looks good.
Center of the game, and we made some amazing improvements. Like if you were to compare.
Hey, Alex Caceres was talking about all right, y'all need to know something about Alex Caceres, okay? This man has had this character model for UFC 2, 3, and 4. Out of every single character model, this guy has had the exact same one. Not only did they give this guy the exact same one, there ain't no fucking hair physics on his shit. Bro, literally looked like it was like a created fighter's like fro, and they plopped it on him, and they say, all right, we're gonna have ourselves a day. That's what they did with him. So, okay, they're going to show us a new Alex model.
UFC 4 models to UFC 5 models.
Took y'all long enough. It took y'all long enough to put respect on my boy. Now, the other thing is, too, y'all better give this man his proper kicking animations because he did not have any good kicks on UFC 4. Like, UFC 3, he had a bunch of spinneroonies and all that fun stuff, too. But this guy's like a fringe top 15. Pretty sure he was like ranked top 12, right? He was top 11 when he fought Giga Chikadze, 11 or 12 or something. So, and he's been in that division for a long time. So this is a little bit off topic from presentation, but I want them to give these guys what they're supposed to fucking have. But at the very least, y'all finally updated Alex Caceres.
It's strikingly improved and better. So one of the big things that we did is brought in a new strand-based hair system.
Clay Guida.
And what you'll see in terms of the player movement is how the hair is lit.
That's funny. Because y'all know Clay Guida, he really be in there and his hair is like bobbing all over the place. So, okay. That's cool. That's cool.
So much more realistic and moves so much more realistic while you're playing. And it made a huge, huge difference. Also, if you look at the lighting and rendering, we also have something called the dual lobe shader.
So that's how they do it, huh?
Skin.
So they take the photos. Okay.
How sweat and blood rolls across the skin. We put a huge amount of effort into the skin of the fighters to make it feel more realistic and believable. Finally, less about frostbite, but more again about the attention and care that our art team put into these fighters. We work the geometry and the texture detail.
Okay. Let's pause the video real quick. Let's go look at this one at a time, right? So let's mute him. So it's Charles. I mean, if you want to be nitpicky, you can just say, oh, the blonde should be a little bit brighter, but I mean, it's highlights. Poatan, that's a big ass dude. They got they got Poatan. O'Malley. His eyes look pitch black. Has his eyes always been pitch black? I feel like his eyes should be a different color. I told you. Can somebody send me a photo of O'Malley, like eyes wise? Because I feel like his eyes are like pitch black, or maybe it could just be this. I mean, the character model, O'Malley mocapped himself in UFC 3, like back when he was like before he had the braids and shit. So they already have like his body type to work with, so his model being good is not a surprise to me. That's not a frostbite thing. It's like his model's always been good because he's literally went in there to mocap himself. So, I mean, maybe his eyes are like that. Okay. And then we're gonna see the next few. So they have bald Connor. And I think everybody wants skin fade Connor, right? That's the thing. Bald Connor was how he showed up for like the last fight that he with against Dustin Poirier, right? The one where he got knocked out, and then he got a skin fade in his most recent bout when like whatever there was no check or whatever the fuck, right? But then Connor's probably gonna come out with like a Jiri head top or whatever. I mean, honestly though, he's fought more times with the fade, right? So let's actually look. He has really dark brown eyes. Okay. I'll take our word for it. So let me look up Connor. Connor versus Dustin 3. Yeah, they got to switch it to this one. I think that's yeah. Yeah, I think Connor versus He was bald the fight prior. Like he was bald the fight prior. I think in featherweight they can go with the different Connor. Won't be specific and shit like that. The Dustin model looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, like, as a bald Connor, yes, it's like, it's not much has changed. But, whatever. You just give him a hair update. And then we have... so Volkanovski looks good, but this Brian Ortega model... I mean, you know what? I'll say this about Ortega. He rarely fights. He hasn't fought in a while. Like, the last time he was out was against Yair Rodriguez, and then he pulled out. Let me see how he looked like for that bout. If because I know people want to nitpick every 2 seconds, so we might also be let's be extra nitpicky. I actually would like him with those braids better than whatever the fuck he has on there. So I'm just gonna take a look. We want to take a look. When we got, we gotta take a look. I think when we get to the later rounds, are they going to sweat? Like it looks like that's what they said. If THQ had the THQ striking wise, no, but grappling wise, they had way more positions. Like this game has grappling positions, but they don't have enough grappling positions. That's the problem. Side texture, yeah. Yep, the side texture looks good. The stubble looks good. Everything else, yeah. My dog is bugging. Yeah, I mean, he braids. They can just give him new braids. It's not like Ortega's really changed much. Okay, I might have to give you a slight pass on Brian Ortega. Maybe body type wise. And then, Fiziev versus Oliveira. That's a random ass. I'm glad they kept this because there's no reason to change this. For like, he went bald for one fight, and this is a more unique look for Fiziev and more of his iconic fights, so to speak. So they might as well keep that. Oliveira facial recognition wise looks good. Like it's not too bad. Let's see, bro. Carla Esparza's had the same model forever, but honestly, didn't she retire? So I don't want them to like update fighters. I mean, her model looks good too because she did mocap, right? So the fighters that did mocap, they don't really need to update on their model too much outside of hair stuff. But do y'all really want to see them like go and update Carla Esparza when they can update somebody else? Zhang looks good. I don't even think I have to say much about that. Kevin Holland versus Alex Pereira looks better. This looks better than it did in UFC 4. This looks better. This also looks good. I don't know what they're gonna do stance wise for him, but we'll see. All right, so this is where we got it. This is what I was gonna say something about Usman. See here, he's like the tone is like correct. Like before the light gets in on him right there, the tone is correct. Leon's head is the right amount. Leon has a big head. He has a big head, but he has a good aesthetic physique. Usman, like they got the mannerisms there. Caceres, the hair, better body type. Guida, they nailed Guida. Usman, they gotta tune Usman because Usman, like, in where the way they had him coming in, it just didn't look like they got the body. It's hard to get everything, but like they got the body, the physique, and everything else right. Probably frame wise in the game when you use them, it's gonna feel that way. But they gotta like make him a little bit darker. They gotta make him a little bit darker. God damn! I could have not timed that any better. Oh, shit. Well, okay, we'll go there. Jorginho, okay, and Curtis Blades. I mean, they got them. Chito Vera. Yeah, okay, so if there's one fighter I don't want you to ever say the change update is this motherfucker Chito Vera. This guy comes out with hair one moment, he'll have one single braid the next, he'll have a tattoo on one side, a different hair color on the other. Like, they don't need to update a fighter every single time that they change their fucking hair, okay? So he's the one guy. His character model looks good. This looks good. But this is like the one guy I never want to see anybody ask for. O'Malley, we already covered O'Malley. Actual gameplay and graphics. Question and, actually no, I was going to say, okay, so now we can get back to the audio. Actual game. Did you play the beta clipper?
I think that we did that again makes our fighter likeness stronger than UFC 4 and previous UFC games. Is we have a technology called Shapeshifter, which allows us to modify the bodies to again try to be closer to the real likeness of them.
I would say striking wise, it's had good changes. I'm for me personally, based on like I played on the beta. Like, for me, it's always disappointing that they didn't have, like, more grappling positions. Like, they have, like, the basic ones, but they go over-under. They have over-under with the body lock. They have they have the tie whip, single under. They have underhook on the side with the cage and fighting for bicep control there. They have the back clinch by the cage. What else do they have? Obviously, back clinch in the middle, and then you break out here when you're, like, fighting and wrist control here. They don't have the main positions that they need. Options to change hairstyle, okay, that's cool. But they need double unders. Like when somebody gets double underhooks, they need to have double overhooks because, and the thing is, like if they add double overhooks, not everybody's gonna have same access. Like for example, if I was in a game, I don't toss people over my head. That's something I've never done. I've never tossed anybody over my head. The day I do, let me know. But I can inside trip a motherfucker. I can inside trip and I could definitely outside trip a motherfucker. But I can't like straight up toss them over my head. You feel me? Cage positions, yeah. Let's see. Biggie Boy been stealing all of Uzma's. It's crazy. Actual gameplay. I mean, this is now in the game. Let's see.
Fighter. So all together, just a really, really great work by our character team to create amazing likenesses for UFC 5, and I hope our players are gonna love it. I think they will.
When we talk about new in-game cinematics for UFC 5, can you highlight some of the notable improvements since UFC 4?
With the walkouts, you're actually going to see 3 new things that make our walkouts more authentic than ever in UFC 5. So the first thing is our face rig system. So we have a new facial animation system that allows us to have more detail and subtle human animation, which you'll see throughout the walkout.
Okay, that looked right. Okay, I'll give y'all credit there.
Cameras that have a more realistic camera lens, and along with new cameras themselves and new editing, putting that all together into a really powerful experience. The third thing that I think, again, you're going to see is the dynamic lighting and all the lighting and rendering throughout the walkout. So again, that goes back to the player likeness and the skin and how light moves across the skin. And finally, I guess the whole choreography, the whole experience with the dynamic lights, and we're turning lights and off and on, and all true to the authentic experience of the UFC walkout. I love them. Super proud of what we accomplished for those walkouts for UFC 5.
The new cinematic replay system in UFC 5 really stands out. I know the content creators are going to enjoy making some amazing thumbnails from the replay system. Can you talk about
he said content. He said content.
Cinematic replay system since UFC 4?
Yeah, so I have to say I love our cinematic knockout replays.
We need Undisputed 3 ground game, grappling. Now that the game has good ground and pound. That game does have good ground and pound. And they just need more positions. They really just need more positions.
I think it turned out to be
nice.
A perfect blend between cinematic cameras and procedural dynamic cameras.
I'll say this though, I would like there to be an option. Like I don't want, because sometimes you get the nice KO, but if you notice in games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, when there's a camera replay on a KO or like before sequence, they show like the last few shots right before the KO happens. And I would like for there to be an option to like show how many seconds back before the KO. Can you go and watch that? I mean, that's something I would like personally. I think a lot of people would like that too, because it's just like that one KO and there's the blue light. We're gonna like it the first few months or so, but after a time, it's like, can we have a different way to show us the KOs? So, you know. So we're talking presentation.
We couldn't have done it without Frostbite. So we're using dynamic Frostbite cameras that will dynamically compose depending on the action. Furthermore, that we have in UFC 5 that we didn't have in UFC 4, because we actually have knowledge of the action in the replay. So we know whether it's a right fist or a left fist, whether it's a right kick or a left kick, and we know where it hits.
Alright. One, I'm going to say this right now, because like, y'all about to do this head kick. I don't like y'all did this. Y'all had to massacre my boy. I'm not a fan of that. But 2, I'm going to hold y'all to that. Okay? I'm going to hold y'all to that. And y'all know what I'm talking about. When the game says, oh, me left hand, motherfucker threw a right hand, or you threw like a real leg kick, and they say nice body kick. If I hear that, y'all know y'all gonna hear from me. I'm like, hey, I don't hit bro with a question mark kick, and he said I hit him with a lead left leg teep kick or something. Y'all better call it right, or even if they call it wrong, they better be like some type of, I think he hit him with a left. Nah, he hit him with a right. There better be some correction there. I think y'all could have done something like that if y'all had DC and Rogan and shit over there too, or Anik or whatnot.
And due to that, we're able to place the cameras to be the most compelling and the most dramatic.
I don't know anything about flags.
We put a lot of work into our slow motion replay in terms of getting our strikes and animation smoother.
Oh, okay.
All of our simulation, which is tuned to work smoother.
I'm gonna hold him to that too. Okay. So notice that like he landed the kick, and it didn't phase through Chito Vera's arm, right? A lot of time, like the shot will land, right, and then upon return, it like phases through the arm. It phases through. So this is what it's referring to. We're talking presentation, like realism. So I'm gonna be looking for that shit too. Like when I'm playing, I better not see no arm get phased through. That's why I noticed like when I play, and I say, damn, that hit his shoulder before it hit his head, so it mitigated some of the damage. That stuff makes sense to me because that's how impact works. Like you hit something, some of the power is gonna go. Now if you slide up it, it's a whole different whatever. You know what I mean? But in this regard, it's like okay, está bien.
Through slow motion, as well as all of our simulation, which is hair and clothing, we updated that, and then finally again our blood and sweat particles, along with a few kind of really cool custom blood particles just for that next gen knockout play moment.
Who was that?
Knockout play moment. Custom blood particles just for that really cool custom blood particles just for that next gen knockout.
That's Leon. I'm kind of about to say, damn, he was jacked.
Another feature new to the presentation in UFC 5 are authentic finishes. Can you talk about some of the ways a fight can end differently in UFC 5 than it could in UFC 4?
So one of the ways I think is like super exciting, emotionally compelling is doctor stoppages. So again, that ties into our
Let me tell you something. Elbows without posturing. Move your opponent towards the cage on the ground. Sitting opponents under the cage. Yeah, right now the only way you can move on the ground is like you have to. If you guys actually pay attention to little details, like when you guys transition and you guys move on the ground, like even if you're in the same spot, like you can actually make yourself get closer to the cage. But people are focused on the denial, so they don't see that works. But that's stuff for my members because I taught them a couple of secrets. But yeah, like elbows without posturing, because I like the concept of like where you only really see like the elbows, multiple elbows, when it leads to a finish, right? Usually when somebody connects all their body weight to one elbow, when they go down with it, the guy usually tries to grab posture, and then the guy has to posture up again and drop another one. Short elbows on the ground like this, short elbows, you can see that. I mean, you could probably do like the short elbows and whatnot. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna say this. With the doctor stoppage, they will need I will hope they have more than one animation for like when that happens. I don't want the same animation of like the fighter, like it's the exact same thing every single time.
Damage system.
Okay.
In the art, we actually have 8 regions for cuts, swelling, and bruising, and we have 5 levels of progression for that.
So,
I think.
Whew, that's nasty. So there's 8 spots where you can mainly get cut. So it's probably chin, lip. Okay.
One of our rendering engineers came up with the math, and we have about 64,000 possible combinations that you could run into. So as you are damaging your opponent, at some point the damage level will get to a place where the doctor will come and stop the fight and check you out. And in that presentation, again, new because of Frostbite in UFC 5, is we have some dynamic camera presentation. We have 6 areas that we can focus the camera on for the damage. In there, you're going to see really good views of the cuts and the blood and the bruising and the swelling. And then again, the game will analyze how much damage you have taken, and then the doctor will decide, hey, let's continue the fight, or we'll stop the fight.
Doctor stoppages are more than presentation. They are now a part of the strategy. You can be behind in a fight, but your opponent could be severely damaged in a specific area which you can target. So even when behind, you still can create a direct path to victory.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks great, but I think what's also cool is, like you kind of alluded to, is there's a new level of strategy.
Does EA have the license? All I wanted was a better clinch and more options. Brother, me too. Me too. Me too.
We didn't used to have from a gameplay perspective.
I like that they didn't nerf it. You know, they didn't nerf it. It definitely wasn't like cheesy, but I've been calling for a over-under fucking input for like 3 years. So like us not having that, like it's there, over-under's there, but it's so convoluted to even try to get it in there that it's just kind of like. But you know, maybe they could be saving all their resources for the next game after this. I don't know.
So again, visuals and gameplay working together to create a new powerful experience for our players.
With all of the presentation and animation of
That was nice.
along with the new audio effects, rendering, and lighting, also with Frostbite elevating the overall gameplay experience, I'm more than
Better
excited
slam.
for the release of UFC 5.
Usman, I told you. Look, the lighting is too much. The lighting's too much on Usman.
See you in the octagon.
All right, so Boxer himself did a pretty good job of where he had to do. Like he did his job basically on what he had to do with asking the questions and everything along those lines. Overall, in terms of the deep dive, I kind of rate it like a 5 out of 10 because, as for me personally, I don't know what it is for anybody else, but for me, it's like a 5 out of 10 because I obviously care more about gameplay. This is obviously great with regards to gameplay in terms of authenticity, right? But I think in terms of presentation, I would have liked to say if they would have like delved in more, like, all right, when somebody lands like a body kick, and you get a specific animation after the body kick because of this body kick landing and causing this type of impact, this affects the frames of your ability to counter. Stuff like that is more important to me than like the hooks is cool, right? Like it's showing the hooks and everything else like that. But in terms of bigger details, like what's going to cause a hit stun, what's going to increase the rate of the hit stun happening, what's going to, based on the cut damage here, we already know the cut damage or whatever's damage, you're more likely to get more damage there. Like it gets increased by a certain percentage, is cool. But with things like impact, I would have liked for them to use more examples, not just blatantly say it. Because for me as myself, that I have pretty good eyes. Like I have pretty good eyes. Like I spot things that look unnatural to me almost all the time. So like I'm gonna be looking for that stuff. Like if I'm landing here and this guy's circling this direction and then certain things aren't mitigated, I'm gonna be looking at EA like, you know, it's just gonna be like, wait. UFC 4, yeah, you're just smoking if you're gonna keep playing UFC 4 though, when UFC 5 drops, I don't know, bro. That's a different degree of insanity that I cannot vouch for. Because overall the clinch, at least it's much easier to maneuver around there. Strategies are gonna have to definitely change, unlike in UFC 4. I think a couple things are also gonna get nerfed incoming. Yeah, I think that's another thing too. We have to consider that like not everybody's myself, not everybody's Marshall, not everybody's whatever, right? So people are gonna make the game look ugly. Like some people, they can make any game look ugly. Like you can get Soul Calibur, make a noob play Soul Calibur, and he's gonna make that game look like dog shit. Like he's gonna make it like, oh, the guy's just spamming one button. You get a guy who's a professional at Soul Calibur. Doesn't matter if he's using the best tier fighter or he's using Astaroth or some shit like that. He's gonna make that shit look good. So I think using myself as a moot point is like it's a good point to make, but also, you know, what's up, Kairos? But I'll just say, yeah, I rate the overall. This is something that they probably should have done before the gameplay deep dive. I think it would have been better for them to do this before. I was like hype to build up the gameplay deep dive. It kind of seems like it's a little bit backwards to go, hey, deep dive first of the presentation. Like they should have done deep dive first for the presentation and then do the gameplay, because people are like, oh shit, look, we saw all this stuff from the deep dive. Now let's see how it's gonna work in the game, because all like the juicy stuff that we wanted to see was already shown to us in the gameplay. Like Marshall did a really good job of that. This is just kind of more like, oh yeah, so By the way, we also did all of this stuff here, which is okay, cool. But you know, improved ref interactions. Yeah, that's a really good point. I think they could have definitely showed Herb Dean saving the day a little bit more. Like we saw one clip of that, Herb Dean saving there. We definitely, you know, it's just kind of, you'll play both? Oh, you're definitely mad. You're definitely mad. How many days until this game releases? Yeah, we got a couple of days before this game releases. Y'all mad if you're going to keep playing this. I'll pay you. When this game drops, I'm deleting UFC 4. I'm never touching that game. Ever. There you, Kairos. But yeah, I'm personally, it's alright. The deep dive presentation trailer is alright. Couple, obviously, I already said about with Usman, how much better it could be. But it's alright. It's an alright trailer. I think right now it's just kind of killing time before the actual game drops. So, what I'm going to do is, I mean, look, I can go play UFC 4 right now and stream. Give us a good career mode, brother. I'll be honest with you. My job, in terms of what I do in design console-wise, is more so balancing out shit as much as I can. Gameplay, like if you see my posts, my tweet, and everything else like that, and you get the gist of what I more so care about. But I definitely have my criticisms towards. I've had a criticism towards UFC 3, UFC 4's career mode, and if career mode ain't what y'all like, best believe y'all gonna have my criticisms by your side too. So post-fight interviews, better pay-per-view mode, so it feels like that'd be great. I love that. I would love that. Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition just seems like, if you want to get access to all the alright, so this is my suggestion, right? The Ultimate Edition, is that the Deluxe Edition or something like that? Here's my honest recommendation towards that. And you have to be, so my honest recommendation is, be honest towards yourself. Are you going to be using those fighters? Be honest. If you are going to be using those fighters, right? If they are going to be using those fighters, then yeah, go get yourself the Deluxe Edition, right? If you're going to use the fighters, go ahead. But if you're not going to really use them, then I don't really think you should. No, you kind of don't really should. It's just a logical thing. Also, though, important to note that in almost every single UFC game, usually when you beat the career mode, you get access to certain fighters that are supposed to be bought, right? So I don't know if it means any of these guys, Fedor, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I don't know if that's gonna apply to them. It could apply to them, right? So I would say like beat the career mode and see if you guys get anything off of that, or like maybe somebody else is gonna confirm. I'll play the career mode for the sake of doing it, just for shits and giggles. But I mean, it better keep me interested, because UFC 4, like we were doing career mode, now it's just like, yeah, I'm done like 3-4 days in. But yeah, shit out of Fedor book. Deluxe fighters were unlocked after beating the career mode on 4. Okay, yeah, Faith said it, so I wasn't out of pocket to say that. So yeah, I'm gonna probably. So what do y'all want me to do? I can stream Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I could do UFC 4 for like a bit, and I'll fight subscribers. If I go UFC 4, I'll fight subscribers. Alright, I'll fight subscribers real quick, because I have to actually. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be the better option, because I do have to get ready to run a practice in due time, so I might just go with that. So that's going to be it for this. Hopefully you guys appreciate this little. It's a live breakdown. It's my honest opinion. I'm not really like wowed by it. I'm not wowed by it by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of like we kind of saw this. I'm not interested in MK. I'm not really interested in this. So it's like I'm interested. It shows enough. It's cool. Like little things like that do matter. But I would have liked, if they're gonna show that, I would have liked for them to have done this before the gameplay trailer, so then we could have had this information right before we saw the actual gameplay. Right? But hey, that's all I can say.